Our topic is going to be the cost of gear we would need for a long hike on the Appalachian Trail. When I say long hike, I mean the hiker wants to average a lot of miles every day, 15 or more for example, and wants to hike many days in a row. My experience has convinced me that distance makes a difference on the AT. If we hike for only a handful of days or walk only a few miles a day, we're sure to live through it no matter what kind of gear we use. If we want to walk a lot further and faster on the AT, the required physical effort increases significantly. The odds of encountering harsh conditions and bad weather also increases. It's a big help to have gear that's reliable and helps keep us moving. Many of us need to watch what we spend, and I am one of those people. Anybody who wants to keep costs down will be at an advantage if they can take a lot of time to shop around and compare costs. On the other hand, if somebody needs to buy all of their gear for the AT in the next 48 hours, they can very easily end up paying higher prices. Say, for example, somebody goes into an REI store and they need to buy all of their AT stuff right now. They easily could end up spending $780 for a pack, tent, sleeping bag, and stove in September 2015. The prices are from the REI website. I should emphasize I like shopping at REI, and I'm not saying these are bad products. Many AT hikers have used these items. Also, their prices are not outrageous. Some pieces of outdoor gear can cost a lot more. But if we have the time to shop around, we can find prices like these. Now we're down to $445 by using mostly Kelty, a long-time outdoor company. The downside of this list is the Salida tent and the Callisto bag are heavy. Together they weigh nearly 8 pounds. The Big Agnes tent and North Face bag on the REI list are about 4.5 pounds together. Kelty and some other companies also have sleeping bags made of what's called dry down. If we put one of them on the Kelty list, the cost increases by $100 and the overall weight falls by more than 2 pounds. All of the sleeping bags listed so far are rated for about 20 degrees. Dry down is advertised as being more water resistant and quicker drying than regular down. Some of the dry down bags I see online are cheaper than a down bag with the same temperature rating. Others, however, cost as much as a down bag. When it comes to regular down sleeping bags versus synthetic, we can expect synthetic to always be a lot cheaper and heavier. I found it cheaper and lighter to basically go full-blown ultralight. I have used this gear on multiple AT hikes, and the costs are adjusted to $2,015. At $595, this is a little more money than the Kelty list, but it's a lot lighter. It's also significantly less money than the REI list. I earlier told how I more or less agonized over spending that much money on a Western mountaineering down bag. I spent that money because the highlight was 1 pound lighter than a cheaper 40-degree synthetic bag I had. If I had stayed with that synthetic bag for warmer weather, the total cost would have fallen to $325. As I have said before, the Gust Pack and Sill Shelter are no longer sold. What would I do if I had to completely re-equip myself? I looked online and decided I could get by fine with these, and they total $375. And if I bought another Western mountaineering bag, I would be at $645. The CDT pack and 6 Moon tarp tent, by the way, are so similar to the Gust and Sill Shelter that I expect I could use them almost exactly the same ways. Fairly inexpensive options are available for other items on the overall gear list. I paid a total of $90 for a titanium pot, cup, and spork. If I had chosen a stainless steel pot and plastic spoon, I could have saved $70. I eliminated a water filter from my gear list by using Aquamira treatment. I eliminated a Camelback type drinking system by carrying a water bottle on a fanny pack. I saved weight and probably money by using a Sill nylon poncho instead of a rain suit. I used only closed cell sleeping pads on the AT, and they are cheaper than inflatable pads. Again, if someone doesn't care what their pack weighs when it's filled up, that can help them keep costs down. There are many backpacking style tents that cost well under $100, but many of those will weigh 4 or 5 pounds. We should say something about Cuben fiber, spelled C-U-B-E-N. Cuben fiber is a fairly new material for backpacking gear. It's waterproof and very light and very expensive. I found one Cuben fiber tent online that weighed 20 ounces with a floor. It would be a great thing for the AT, and it also costs $600. We should also talk about hammocks and tarps. Tarps are usually large, light, and not very expensive, relatively speaking. I have seen backpacking hammocks that come with a modest price. One viewer who commented on another video said his hammock, tarp, and quilt system totaled 3 pounds, 12 ounces. Hammocks can be used on ground that isn't level, and level ground is not abundant along the AT. It sounds like hammocks have the potential to be an economical, lightweight solution. Yet, I have never used one. I expect I would have to do a certain amount of experimentation to iron out a system that is both economical and lightweight. Odds are high that northbound thru hikers are going to face cold weather in the first month of their hike. That means clothing for cold weather will be needed. Some hiking clothes for bad weather have really high prices, and I will be talking about hiking clothes in another video. When it comes to gear, I'm not trying to say anyone should imitate me. I am saying I know what works for me, and with a little digging online, I found similar stuff at prices that I can handle. And what about this works for me business? When it comes to costs, we are best served if we really know what our needs are before we start a long haul on the AT. A number of thru hikers will change their gear in mid-hike. Sometimes they're replacing something that broke, but oftentimes they're switching to something they think will work better than what they have. And that would mean they changed their mind compared to what they thought before they started their hike. And that would mean spending more money. I'm sure we all know there are many videos on YouTube about gear lists for the AT. Some of those videos were made in the middle of a thru hike or after a thru hike. I would suggest those are the ones we want to watch. I have seen videos by 2 other hikers who stopped using their Jetboil stoves on the AT. I am sure the Jetboil does everything the manufacturer says it does, so why did this happen? In my video, Alcohol Stove Secrets of the Appalachian Trail, I described in detail how I am able to cook meals on the trail with a very modest alcohol or Esbit stove using not much fuel at all. I learned that a stove that cranks out a high volume of heat very efficiently was something I did not need on the AT. I might need one in Alaska in a blizzard, but I didn't need one on the AT. And that meant I didn't want to carry one on the AT. And I had no idea this would be the case until I got on the AT. I carried canister stoves on my first couple of AT hikes, and then they stayed home. Even though I like to spend money like anybody else, I always have thought gear selection was a pain in the neck because I never took it for granted I would be happy with what I bought. I earlier did a video called Hiking Crash Course on the Appalachian Trail. In that video, I described what I think is the great advantage of taking an AT section hike to see for yourself what it's really like. In my own case, my ideas about gear for the AT came into sharp focus after I had done the first section hike. Before that, I was in reality making guesses about what gear would work best for me. And this is true even though I've been backpacking before. As time goes by and this video gets older, the prices of many of the items listed will change. What will not change, however, is the value of searching extensively on the internet for the best prices we can find. And now, once again, we are done. I'd like to thank everyone who has subscribed. And if you have not subscribed, it would be much appreciated if you would. And as always, thanks for watching.